In The Last Jedi, Snoke constantly toyed with Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. The then Supreme Leader had next to no fear that Ren would ever be able to stand up against him or strike him down. This had to do with planning by Snoke and being in that throne room, which was incredibly protected. In this video, I want to explain why Kylo Ren needed Rey's help in order to defeat Snoke and the Praetorian Guards. Let's talk about it. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. If you love Star Wars the way I do, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to this channel. We do all sorts of Star Wars videos, including a ton of videos on Star Wars Sundays. Quickly, I want to shout out Trustworthy Mick Legitimate for getting the nerd card question correct in my latest Kylo Ren video. You definitely know your stuff when it comes to Star Wars, so shout out to you, Trustworthy. Oh, and that name is awesome, by the way. There will be another nerd card question at the end of this video. Alright guys, so I definitely wanted to talk about why I believe Kylo Ren needed Rey's help in order to defeat Snoke. So this all starts with Snoke himself. Now Snoke did a lot of clever planning, and as Kylo said in The Force Awakens, the Supreme Leader is wise. I want to talk about the strength of the throne room and why this was such a hard thing for Kylo Ren to figure out. So at the beginning of the novelization, when Kylo first enters the throne room, there is a point of view chapter in which he exclaimed that as he entered the throne room, he was intimidated. He talks about the prowess that his Supreme Leader and Master had within the Force, but he also speaks about the Praetorian Guards. He says that the Praetorian Guards are made up of the most gifted fighters in the First Order. On top of that, they were literally trained in an ancient art that was designed to fight Force users. Their weapons and armor were also designed to be able to combat against lightsabers and people that used the Force. So why did Snoke do this? Well, you see, he had learned from the past, and something that the Sith were hyper aware of was the fact that the apprentices constantly wanted to overthrow and kill their masters. This had happened many times before, and Snoke was hell-bent on preventing that from happening to him. I believe he designed the throne room and had the Praetorian Guards trained specifically for his different apprentices, not just Kylo Ren, but any one of his apprentices that he thought eventually would try to turn against him. We even see this foreshadowed in the film when Kylo first talks to Snoke in the throne room. He makes a move for his lightsaber, and Snoke blasts him with some lightning off of the floor. And on top of that, all of the Praetorian Guards get their weapons out and are ready to fight against Kylo Ren. So there was no way he was going to be able to kill Snoke, and even if he did, he would just get struck down by the Praetorian Guards. That fact was sort of hanging over his head, and something that I think Snoke manipulated and was kind of cocky about. He approached this whole thing knowing that Kylo had no chance and continued to stoke his conflicted soul. As I said, this is a Sith thing, and hate and desire to destroy was certainly a part of the equation for the ancient dark side users. This is really delved into in the Lords of the Sith novelization. Palpatine, who could also read Vader's thoughts just like Snoke could read Kylo's, he would constantly know that Vader did think about destroying him. The way that that dynamic worked was that there would be one person to hold the power and the other person would covet the power. That is the master and the apprentice relationship and the way that the dynamic of the rule of two work. Even though Snoke is not a Sith, he did learn lessons from the failures of the Sith in the past. Now, part of the plan for Snoke was getting Rey into the throne room so that he could discover the location of Luke Skywalker. In fact, the only reason he took Ben Solo as an apprentice was to try to get to Luke Skywalker. The plan for Snoke consisted of stoking the conflicted soul of Kylo Ren and connecting his mind to Rey. That way, Rey wouldn't be able to resist and would come thinking that she could turn Kylo Ren. Now, as they entered the throne room, the way that Rian Johnson describes this scene in the director's commentary is that at this moment, Kylo Ren knows he is going to betray Snoke, but he doesn't exactly know how. He is looking for an opportunity. He's also aware that Snoke can read his motives, if not his every single thought. So he goes in there masking his emotions, masking his thoughts. Now, the reason that he needed Rey was not just to fight the Praetorians, Praetorians, but to keep the focus of Snoke on something other than himself. Rey, being super fiery, very strong with the Force, and hell-bent on destroying the Supreme Leader, took a lot of the focus and the energy that Snoke had. Now, this is something that not a lot of people talk about when it comes to Star Wars, but is actually incredibly challenging for a Force user to use a lightsaber and use a Force ability at the same time. This is something that Obi-Wan talks about in the Clone Wars series, and it's echoed throughout different forms of medium. Jedi are not superhuman. The ability to use the Force in certain ways takes a lot of strain and a lot of focus. So while Snoke was completely focused on Rey and also reading the thoughts of Kylo Ren, he did not have enough focus and energy to know exactly what was happening. That gave Kylo the opening he needed to turn the lightsaber, mask his thoughts, and strike down Snoke. But they weren't out of the woods after that. As we know from the throne room scene, all the Praetorians turn on Kylo and Rey, and this is where Kylo really needed Rey's help. They worked together as master and apprentice, fighting together in synchronicity. It was beautiful to witness, and despite them both being incredibly gifted and powerful with the Force, they still almost lost. That is such a testament to the power and the training of the Praetorian Guards. I really don't think that can be overstated. These people were designed to fight Force users. I'd love to see more factions like this in the future of Star Wars. Now, for me, all of this crystallized for Kylo when Rey and he touched hands. They both get a version of the future in which they see the throne room scene in a certain light. Rey thinks that Kylo will be turning away from the dark side and striking Snoke down. Kylo has no interest in that, and he sees that Rey will stand by his side and help him defeat Snoke and the Praetorians. It doesn't go the way either one of them thought it would, and yet they did see a version of that future. That is why she wants to go to him. That is why he wants her to come to him. I thought this was really cool and a sort of weird take on the master and the apprentice relationship. So that's it, guys. That is why Kylo Ren needed Rey in order to defeat Snoke and the Praetorian Guard. What do you guys think about all of that? I'm really interested to hear what your thoughts are in the comment section below. All right, let's check that nerd card really quickly. I want to know how many Praetorian Guards were in that throne room scene. How many of those guards did Snoke have all around him at that time? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.